But this one, guys, if this person doesn't get in, I'm gonna be hurt. Brandy. What can I say? She is the vocal Bible. A little annoying on Twitter nowadays, on Instagram, but
Oh my God.
A little.
okay,
A
very
little.
annoying on
Well,
very annoying.
Let me go. Okay, there you go.
But she still has a solid body of work. Apparently, Full Moon is a classic. I don't know if I agree with that. It is a pretty solid album.
Who told you that?
Anyways, but no, she's had a couple of solid albums, and in the 90s, late 90s, she was sort of one of the faces of R&B, and she was one of the first young, female R&B artists to really, really make it and cross over. So, Brandy, I say yes. What about you guys?
Go first, Ed.
All right. Now, when I first got on, and I can't even remember the year now, a few years ago when I guess it was like 2007, 2008, when I started, my fandom of R&B started to go online, and I started reading and experiencing like the opinions of other fans. I was always thrown by how Brandy was like championed as this huge legendary singer and groundbreaker and this, and I was like, Brandy, for real? And I love Brandy, but there is a segment of fandom who like put her up there with like the legends. Like I'm talking the Arethas and the Shakas. And I realized that is because for their generation, Brandy is their Whitney. Brandy was the person who was acting and had TV roles and was putting out great albums and great collaborations. So for them, she is like the pinnacle, and that's why you hear stuff like Full Moon is a classic. Somebody needs to revisit that opinion. But we hear stuff like that because she has such a vocal fan base who literally grew up with this artist who started out on the Thea show. Y'all don't remember that. That's old head stuff. When she had that mushroom haircut. All the way to this starring Hollywood celebrity and huge R&B artist. So she did what Whitney Houston and many others did for that generation. So for that alone, and her musical contributions, I say yes, she's a Hall of Famer. But I still think some fans need to calm down with the Brandy standing. Jeez. But she gets my vote.
Does she even have a classic album?
I would say no.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but the closest, you could probably say Never is a classic album. But that's a pop album. That's a pop
That's the closest
album. That's not R&B.
I wouldn't agree with that, player. It's
the
R&B.
single, most
That
of the
album
singles.
R&B.
Okay, I'll change how I say that. The singles, like a few of the singles.
Yeah, the biggest singles. Yes, the biggest singles were pop crossover singles. That is true.
All right.
But that was R&B at the time. It was pop. We're not expecting.
I don't
Brandy
mean it like that. I mean the styling of the song, like this, the way the song is produced, like everything about the song is a pop. I hate to use the word pop, but
No, I get what you're saying though.
I don't mean like popular radio. I mean like a pop sound.
Yes, it was marketed to intentionally cross over. Those always doesn't count type jokes.
And by that I mean marketed towards.
I mean, almost don't.
Marketed towards middle-aged, older white ladies cleaning their house type music.
The Beckys.
Well, I don't know. I always like to be the devil's advocate, so no one's a unanimous vote. And I'm not going to say no, but it would be interesting if she had focused more, like if she was solely dedicated to music and it was her main priority. Obviously, she's been a successful actress and done other things. But I guess cool.
No, I'm with Tom on this one. Like, if you ask them, and we're gonna get beat up for this because Brandy's fans are just so vocal, but I don't think it's a shoe-in. Like, there are people who grew up with her and know her as the pinnacle, but that's not necessarily the case. So I think she gets an in, but it's not a shoe-in. Like, She
Well,
just makes it in for the same reason.
The positive she has going is influence over the next generation. Obviously,
Yep.
talent, record sales, celebrity achievements, awards. So, I mean, it kind of is a shoe-in. I'm giving Kyle a hard time, but I wouldn't.
I don't think it's a shoe-in just because she doesn't have that one album that says okay. And I know people say, never say never. Like, it's good, but there's no Brandy album that's gotten anywhere near close to 5 stars. Anywhere near.
Man, it's funny that you say that because I remember when she released 211 a couple years back, people were calling that a 5-star, and I'm like, I don't think so.
Oh, what?
Jeez.
Those same people, I'm sure, spent $6,000 at Fire Fest this weekend. What? No.
Do you realize that in the past almost 1 decade, she's only released 1 album? And that's 211. Since 2000, if you count after Human came out, she's released only 1 album. And that's almost
Correct.
10 years.
And that's why when I did my top vocalist list, and I labeled her as inactive, and people are like, she's active. She's active on Twitter. She's not active in the studio playing.
So
right,
good news, ladies and gentlemen. I have now got one person into the Hall of Fame.